talking about leadership and just the tenets of team building and the importance of building things one brick at a time. And you know, we are a 7 Habits school, so we know the importance of building that foundation. So let's start over. Talking about leadership and building teams one brick at a time, and of course that ties into what we do as a 7 Habits school in being proactive, beginning with the end in mind, putting first things first, because those are foundational things that people can't see. So when you build a house, how many people pay attention to what's going on the bottom? Very few. They just like to look at what? The finished product. Well, we're going to get to the finished product later on, but right now, we want to talk about getting to know ourselves. Before you can build anything, you have to kind of know what you want and how you feel about what you want. So, we're going to talk about our strengths and the areas that we need to work on.
And our activity today is based on just how you're feeling right now. We don't want to think about what happened yesterday or what's going to happen tomorrow, how you're feeling right now. But one of the things that we found is that if you don't know who you are, as a team member, you can't be the best that you can be on the team. So what I want you to do is just to think really quickly. How am I feeling right at this particular point in time? Do I feel like a circle? Do I feel like a square? Do I feel like a triangle? Or do I feel like a squiggly line? And Ms. Priest is going to just lead us, because we're going to do this activity in real time. And then we'll come back together and see how that plays out in us building a leadership team one brick at a time.
So remember, get your phones out. And the code is keyword. So what best describes how you feel right now at this moment? So as you think about it, let me just talk to you about a few things. Squares are highly organized people. You know, we really kind of joke about it, but how many people are square? Okay. Okay. Do you feel like a circle?
This is kind of like, y'all remember the old Almond Joy Mounds
the commercial. Sometimes you feel like a mountain, sometimes you don't.
Sometimes a circle. We'll see in just a minute.
Oh, okay. My bag. I'm so excited. I'm sorry.
Good for you. Wonderful. Wow, that is very interesting. That's very interesting. Did yours go through?
So we're waiting on a couple of people.
I'm going to try to get him see.
Voting is not closed. Voting is not closed. Okay, in the message. Right. The number that corresponds with how you feel right now. Okay.
Keep feeling organized. Good for you. What does being a circle mean?
We're going to tell you in just a
We're going
minute.
to talk about that.
We're going to see how that's going to come into play.
All right.
Okay. Square, circle, triangle, squiggle. I wonder what these all mean. Before we find out what they really mean, tell me what you think they mean.
I'm thinking a squiggle is someone that's kind of up and down, they're kind of roller coaster. I'm thinking the circle is someone that's feel like they're always on the kind of like the hamster. You'll catch up. And I think the triangle is the person that starts out with all this stuff that they have that focused goal on where they're going, and so they kind of work toward that. But I'm just saying.
Is that right?
I don't know.
I think you're wrong.
That's my count. What's somebody else's hypothesis?
Yeah.
Well, I thought circle, I thought of immediately just the geometric aspect of it, that it had no corners. And I was thinking that kind of whenever you've gone that stuff, you get the corners all rubbed off. Things don't bother you nearly as much as they used to, so that was my idea.
So 50% of the group this afternoon said that they're circles, 25% square, and the other 25% has voted to say that they're triangles. Let's look and see what these are. If you are a square, and I would ask that you stand up, but you don't have to stand up. They're highly organized. They like to make lists, and then they like to check those lists, those things off that list. It's said that they have great filing systems. With everything labeled, and they know where everything is. But sometimes there's a negative side to being a square. They're resistant to change. So 25% of our group today is in the square category. Triangles. We have a triangle in our midst. And they are born leaders. They always want to know the bottom line. Thanks, ladies. They don't really like games or activities. Kind of like this one right here.
Yeah, that is not you. That is totally not you.
But there's a drawback with triangles as well. They're a little bit bossy. Our next group, which comprises 50% of our population this afternoon, are circles. Well, in any given group, most of the folks are going to be circles. They make the world go round. They're the nice people.
Oh.
They just want to get along. They want everybody to be happy. And they're social. And we don't have any squiggly lines in our group today. But you'll see in a little bit that we need some squiggly lines. Because squiggly lines people are our creative people. They're fun-loving.
Miss Terry should have been here.
And sometimes the saying, the lights are on, but nobody's home, that goes along with squiggly lines.
The truth on.
But there's a couple of drawbacks with squiggly lines. You look at their decks and you're like, what the? But they know where it is, and they don't want you to touch it. Because they have their own sense of organization, and you'll mess it up. And now I'm going to turn it over to Miss Priest, and she's just going to let us know, how do these come together? We're saying that getting to know who we are is the first brick in our foundation of building a leadership team. So now that we know who we are, we got a couple of circles, a square, a triangle. Why is that important, and how will that help us build the foundation of our leadership team? Ms. Priest.
Well, these things are important for a number of reasons. Because when you think about a team, teams are not comprised of everyone with the same personalities and the same characteristics. The same way our classrooms are not comprised of students with the same personalities, same characteristics. We are not either. So it's very important that we become in tune with what we are, how we feel, and especially sometimes we need to know how we feel, because it's important for us to understand how the students may feel. But when you talk about a team, you need squares who are highly organized, because they can be your detail people, your scribes. And Ms. Polk has been scribe for BBST, keeping notes, keeping all those details together. Circles are the nice people. They always want to keep everybody happy. If you're on a team, there will be resistance at times. And it's important to have that person who's always there with a smile, like a Miss Foster. Triangle. They just kind of want to know the bottom line. And I'm like, well, just tell me, what do you need? What do you want? What is our goal? And that's not always good, so I need to be balanced out by other personalities. Squiggly. Fun. The fun czar of the leadership team. Keeping things going. So you really have to know how all these pieces come together. Each one of these is a brick, the square, the circle, the triangle, and the squiggle that come together to build a house. What we're going to do next time, we've talked today about how we feel, whether we're a square, a circle, a triangle, or a squiggle. We've talked about leadership and how it applies to us in terms of 7 habits. Just something for us to think about, because when we come back next time, we're going to think about about us in terms of being, we're gonna just draw a pig. That's all I'm gonna tell you. We're gonna draw a pig and go from there. Any questions or anything as we debrief? I forgot to do another poll, ask if you like this activity, but show of hands, did you like it? Yay! Thank you so much for your time, and thank you, Dr. Bowman, for coming to be with us today.